took a more aggressive tone in an effort to win over voters last night. Ted Cruz told Bill O'Reilly they would round up and deport all 12 million people in the country who are here illegally.
Listen, we should enforce the law. How do we enforce the law? Yes, we should deport them. We should build a wall. We should triple the Border Patrol. And federal law requires that anyone here illegally that's apprehended should be deported. You know the biggest difference, Bill?
Though, as Mr. Trump would look for them to get them out. Would you do that if you were president?
Bill, of course you would. That's what ICE exists for. We have law enforcement that looks for people who are violating the laws.
Okay.
Joining us now to talk more about race and the presidential candidates and immigration, Mo Kelly from the Mo Kelly Show on KFI AM 640 Radio, also investigative and political journalist Ana Garcia. We welcome her back. Welcome to you both.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. So what about this hard right turn that Ted
You
Cruz
mean a flip-flop?
seems to
It's a flip-flop if they're all going at once, the 12 million. You remember during the debate when Ted Cruz was making fun of Donald Trump saying, oh, and some people are suggesting we could just, deport 12 million. It's a little bit of a flip-flop. A little bit.
He's saying use ICE. Do you think, does he sound desperate to you, Mo?
He doesn't sound desperate. He sounds like he's running for president. It's not unlike Bernie Sanders, who says, we're going to give away free college.
Right.
It's the same thing. You're promising things which cannot be delivered. They're not practical. They're not rational. They're not even reasonable. But at the same time, it's red meat for the base, and it means votes in the short term.
Does it work? Do people believe this?
Oh, absolutely. If you look at the rise of Donald Trump, people believe it. It's like pancakes and pizza. It's not healthy for you. It's not good for you. But it sounds good and it tastes good going down. But it's not good over the long term.
But they believe Donald Trump. I'm not so sure that the voters believe the same kind of rhetoric from the other candidates. Donald Trump gets a pass.
Here's what Trump tweeted today. He said, Ted Cruz only talks tough on immigration now because he did so badly in South Carolina. He is in favor of amnesty and weak on illegal immigration.
I don't know if that's true or not because we don't have any policy specifics from Donald Trump. He's told us a lot about he's going to build an $8 billion wall and Mexico's going to pay for it. I don't think that's even possible or even practical. But at the same time, until we get policy specifics from Donald Trump, he's just telling people what they want to hear.
The big attack on Ted Cruz right now is to make him look like he is shady. Donald Cruz.
Oh, that's scary.
Trump says he's kind of shady, or at least his people are.
Just take note of his hair in this video. What is
Yeah.
happening
It's so
to
yellow.
him?
We were just saying today it was like kind of canary yellow.
It's neon yellow. It is canary.
Something's
He's
gone
got a
wrong.
Lady Gaga thing going on. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling it. I'm kind of feeling it.
I'm sorry, I was so distracted.
But as I said, that, both Rubio and Donald Trump trying to paint Cruz as a guy that's an untrustworthy guy that lies and will do anything to get elected.
Well, he has been kind of dirty on this campaign, and we've got some real concrete, problems that he has created. Like when in Iowa, he basically said, "Hey, Ben Carson's dropping out. Vote for me." Okay, the mailers, then the Photoshop pictures of Rubio with the president,
Bible.
Right,
and then
now the
trashing the Bible,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Come on, that's at least four since Iowa.
Is it just politics? Do we always forget every election season how dirty things get?
Well, it's dirty, but it's changed because the proliferation of social media. You could get away with doing something in Iowa and it not stick to you when you want to campaign in South Carolina. But people have YouTube now. They have internet service providers. They have memories. They have smartphones. And that information travels fast and furious, no pun intended. So people remember what you did 3 months ago. And what Ted Cruz did 3 weeks ago or 3 minutes ago, people remember.
Talking about race now, and on the Democratic side, both Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders pushing for the black vote in the upcoming South Carolina primary. And each of those candidates has gotten some help.
Oh, yeah.
Director Spike Lee.
Yeah, says that Bernie, he'd do the right thing.
Hey, I get it.
And actor Morgan Freeman is throwing his support behind Hillary Clinton.
Well,
Does it seem that, look, I mean, Hillary's pretty much got the African-American vote in the bag here, doesn't she?
I think the polls are indicating that she's very, very strong in South Carolina, without question. I think that this endorsement, the one that is more important, is the Spike Lee endorsement, because he's an activist. He's on the ground. He's constantly out there, and I think he's very credible as someone who is really always fighting for civil rights. So I think for him to endorse Bernie Sanders is important, but an endorsement, But an endorsement does not always translate into votes. But he is an influential person. He is one of those people that others listen to.
Spike Lee has always been an activist first who happens to be a filmmaker secondarily. And his endorsement is not seen as celebrity, but more in the line of activism. I think that goes a lot further than, let's say, a Samuel L. Jackson
Or a Morgan
endorsement.
Freeman.
Or Morgan Freeman.
Absolutely.
Morgan Freeman hasn't had a lot to say about anything over the past 20 years as it relates to race or social issues. So if anything, Spike Lee has always been consistent. This is very much in alignment with what he does.
Is it still fair to even call it, though, the black vote? I mean, when you have Bernie Sanders talking about income inequality, I mean, that's basically his big issue. And you do see a lot of African Americans where that resonates with them. And then you see people saying, oh, if you're a woman, you have to vote for Hillary. I mean, are we seeing those giant blocks that we used to, that African Americans will vote for this person and women will vote for her because she's a woman?
Yes, there's still those blocks, but the problem is most of these political candidates are not speaking to African Americans. They're not watching their prepositions. They're talking about us, they're talking around us, but they're not talking to us. And until they talk to us, then they won't be able to actually separate and siphon off that vote, because until we feel as if we're included in the process, then we will go as we've always gone.
And these blocks, they're knocking down walls. They're tired of being talked to and about as being a voting bloc. And they are not homogenous.
No.
The African American vote is not a homogenous vote. There are many issues within that community, just as there are many issues within the Latino community. We don't always vote as a bloc.
It does look like Hillary's going to take South Carolina. Is then Super Tuesday pretty much Bernie's last stand here? He really needs to start winning some really big states.
Oh, he's not out of it yet.
I wouldn't say he's out of it,
But
but
when
the
you look
Clinton,
at the delegate
the Clinton
count-
machine is real.
Yeah.
And her ground game is much stronger than Bernie Sanders, or at least what we've seen so far. Until Bernie can demonstrate that he can win in those states in which he doesn't have a geographical advantage or a social advantage, then it might be last stand. Might be.
And let's look at the delegate count, right?
She has the
52
super delegates,
Yeah, I'm not
which-
counting super delegates because those are wishy-washy, right?
They
Right?
are, I
They
guess,
can be,
yeah.
right? They can change.
Absolutely.
If
I don't
things
know if
get
they want to go up
nasty,
against the Clintons.
Slippery.
Well, the Clintons are not quite as strong, are they? Or Bernie wouldn't be doing so
Vulnerable.
well.
Vulnerable.
They are vulnerable indeed.
Mo Kelly, Anna Garcia, thank you guys both.
Thank
for coming
Thank
in.
you guys. Appreciate it.